Greetings collectors and welcome to today's retro game review. Today we're taking a look at a game based on a film, based on a true story. It's time to take a look at Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Now I enjoy a Bruce Lee film as much as the next person. Enter the Dragon, Way of the Dragon and Fists of Fury are amongst my favourites. But really any occasion you get to see Bruce Lee in action, it's clear that he was a martial artist first and an actor second. The game, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, is based on the movie of the same name. It's a retelling of significant moments from Bruce's life, from the difficulty he had in an America of racist undertones, through to his injuries and eventual breakthrough into the public eye. Overall, it's actually not a bad movie. There's a bit of artistic license thrown in, and the movie does well not to get drawn into the controversy around his death. The plot is very much about his life. So, a martial arts master and a plot set up for some set-piece fights, you would imagine that this would produce one amazing game. Sadly, this wasn't the case. Right from the start, the game is somewhat burdened by its control system and attack power. On your first playthrough, you'll find yourself jumping all over the place, just trying to land some punches. When you do land an attack, they seem incredibly underpowered compared to other fighting games, and not what you would expect from Bruce Lee. It does become easier with practice, but it does dawn on you very early on that Dragon just isn't going to be the experience that you'd hoped for. The moveset is quite reasonable, and by building up your power meter, it is then possible to activate the nunchucks. However, it's a real mission not to get decked in the process by the opponent, especially if you choose to play on the harder difficulty settings. The stages do follow the movie somewhat, but with a few characters thrown in for good measure, such as what appears to be Jim Kelly of all people. I'm not complaining here, as it's a good surprise to see his likeness pop up in the game. It's perhaps a nod to the fans of Enter the Dragon and karate in general that he replaces the actor that was in a similar scene in the movie. Bruce will fight a range of characters in various locations, including sailors and chefs. Overall, it's a good fight roster, but you will be seeing them back later in the game for some classic colour sprite swaps. With the controls being rather difficult to master and your standard attacks being a little underpowered, it is inevitable that you will die at some point. At this point, there's what might be my favourite element of the game. Lee's phantom fear arrives in the form of a samurai. If you can defeat him, you'll win the right to another life. I actually found this to be quite a clever concept, being able to fight for your right to survive. If you are looking to collect Dragon, there's a variety of options. Here is the UK PAL edition for the Sega Mega Drive. It has some nice artwork and a standard black case. You'll be able to pick up a complete edition for the £10 mark. Similar North American versions can also easily be found for around the $10 to $15 range. In my opinion, this is still too expensive. The game is not directly a Bruce Lee product, nor is it that great a game to play, and isn't particularly rare. It is interesting that this one hasn't sunk to the lower bargain bin prices for collectors yet. The game isn't terrible, but it certainly doesn't do justice to the story of Bruce Lee or his phenomenal impact on martial arts and Jeet Kune Do around the world. What I really wanted is for this game to have the hard-hitting kicks and snapping punches we see on screen. Instead, we get a rather diluted shadow of the man. The game is still definitely worth a playthrough though if you can find it at a bargain price. I have the feeling that it just won't hold players' attention for too long though, as other beat-em-ups of the 16-bit era have done. A classic Bruce Lee movie though? Well, they're good forever. Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!